Hello friends, this is Amit Kulkarni. Today's discussion on how the technology evaluators, the employee and academic excellence evaluators would talk to you and what kind of parameters they would look into your profiles. Let me begin with my experience and the journey. I have total around 2 decades of experience, mostly into the technology industry. I've been part of many products, services, and implementation company, handle many large and intermediate range of projects. Today, what we are going to see is understanding democratization of the selection process and what are some of the important points that we should keep on top of our mind, right? So the selection process usually starts with your profile and CVs. Any new candidate, potential employee, has to submit the application to the employer. Now, what are some of the important factors which will ensure that your profile gets selected into this selection process? So there are 4 to 5 important things. First is the complete snapshot of your summary. Second is detailed and relevant contents which you have captured in your profile. The summary, the motivation, and the inspiration why you want to join this particular job opportunity. The academic credentials which you have acquired throughout past 4 to 5 years. The relevancy of the additional qualifications that you have gained during your courses or maybe after your courses, and highlighting some of the important keywords which comes into your profile. Overall, how structured your profile or your resume is, that's what matters in the first round. So many of the companies which are kind of large to medium size, they start with also the aptitude test and then they go ahead for interviews and other rounds. So we'll keep aside at this moment the aptitude test and we will talk sometimes later. But today let's focus on to the interview aspect of this. What is a technical evaluator would look into your profile and a candidate who is a potential employee for the organization. So let's talk about the academic credentials first. हम जब बात करते हैं academic credentials की, the student who has covered his graduation or post-graduation subjects in last 3 years or 5 years, he should actually cover all the details about the academic details. For example, the major subjects that he has completed during his course, his total percentage or percentile or whatever grading system which was opted for it. Then he should also ensure that the specific degree that he has acquired, it should be detailed enough. What kind of institution he has attended, a little bit background about that institution should also be there. Also, the important aspect is when you are covering your academic details, mention your year of completion, because that also gives a continuation of your journey in last 4 to 5 years. So those are some of the important academic details that a potential employer would look into it, right? However, that's not the only thing. The important thing goes ahead and it also talks about the projects and the internship or trainings that you have done in actual companies or in organizations, right? So many of academic institution today has 1 semester dedicated to it, and that's where also a specific expertise reflects in a potential candidate's profile. So let's look at it. What should be there, right? First of all, a relevant project or internship project detail should be there. It should also have a level of project details that you have done. It should not only be the project titles which are there, it has to be detailed enough for a person to understand what kind of work that you have done, right? The next thing that comes into is what role that you have performed. A project could be consist of one or many team members. what is your contribution into that particular project is way more important than just mentioning that I have been completing this project in this organization, right? Now, going ahead, when we talk about a role, what are your significant contribution to that project or that internship project matters to a technical evaluator, and he may ask a couple of questions around that to understand, are you really the person who has done a hands-on into that particular project, right? So that's more or less about like internship, training, projects, and other things. It would be good if a candidate can also say that what is the future improvements into that particular project given, let's say, time and budget which are allocated to him. This gives a candidate's future thought process about the work that he has done, right? Now let's talk about the certifications in the profile. Apart from the academic excellence, I think this is a era of specialization. While the generalization works pretty much at a superficial high level, or it tells you that a candidate is qualified for certain job or certain profile or certain requirement, a specialization in any field would give an added advantage to him, right? So a certification comes into handy to prove this, right? Let's say there are many different branches. One of the branches, the IT and computer science, where you can talk about specific programming language certification, a specific cloud computing aspect, maybe the latest trend like AI and artificial AI and cloud computing, machine learning, and all those aspects of it. Go for it and showcase your certification into these areas, right? At the same time, hackathons and the programming events are also much more important. I would also like to talk the other fields. If you are from a sales background, then talk about what kind of sales webinars, seminars that you have attended. You also talk about, if you are from marketing field, then talk about what kind of marketing campaigns that you have attended, right? So these will certainly give a highlight into your profile, and it would certainly improve the chances of your selection, right? Let's move about the community participation. As I talked about the webinars and seminars, if there are open source communities, if there are events happening around you in your campus area or in your city, ensure that you attend those and obviously participate actively into those, right? And capture those information into your profiles as well, right? Now, today, as I told you, that it's a time of specialization, and hands-on skill on any specific area is always something that a employer or a selection committee would look towards, right? So if you are from if you want to achieve excellence in the programming, right? So mention which programming language you are comfortable with, what kind of level that you are at. Is it an advanced, intermediate, or basic level, right? So similarly, if you are from some other background, mention what are the hands-on skills which are needed for the entry-level job seeker, right? And put it in a confident, very clear manner into your profile. So that's about hands-on skill. Now let's talk about when we talk about a specific industry, ensure that you are on top of any new trends or progress that is happening into that field. What are the new trends? What are the new research that is going on into that field? Because probably you are going to be part of that evolution or revolution in next 5 to 10 years. So it is better for you to right now be a part of it. Okay, maybe at a nascent stage, maybe at a information seeking candidate, but that's very important, right? Now I'll talk about few general and hygiene factors of a candidate who is attending an interview. First and foremost, the communication skills. A communication skill comprises of more than just talking fluently in maybe English or certain languages, right? It is a person's capability to communicate the idea clearly. It could be a technical idea, it could be a commercial idea, it could be a project idea, anything, any subject, right? It is the capability that you communicate your ideas clearly to the person. So work on that. It certainly improves and adds on to it, right? Now demonstrate the confidence when you talk about your work. Your confidence in terms of detailed work that you have done should reflect in your dialogue, right? In your presentations. Um, at the same time, don't be overconfident. If there are certain areas, subjects, topics which you are not aware, right? Or maybe you're partially aware, let's be honest, right? And say that you are right now you do not have information about this topic, and maybe given a chance, I would like to gather more information and share my ideas, right? This builds a big trust in an employer and employee kind of relationship or potential employee relationship, right? So that also brings a credibility for a candidate. Now take your time to listen the questions, right? The panel will also understand that does the candidate have the listening ability, right? Don't overreact, right? Understand the question, take pause, understand it, and then respond it clearly, right? Then, whenever you're going for or participating the interview process, right? The organization that you're targeting, you should do a research about it. And when I say research, what kind of areas it works in, what kind of customers that organization have, what kind of product and services that organization offers, right? This all gets contributed to a candidate's willingness and enthusiasm and excitement to attain that job opportunity, right? So ensure that you do a good research about the organization where you are going, right? And at the same time, I think since I talked about hygiene factors, your attire, your presentation should be most professional way, right? Your attitude, your behavior, and this sincerity should reflect in all of your conversation, right? So those are some of the important points that we as a candidate uh, should ensure in our profile, in our interview, in our conversation with the employer. Um, I want to wish all the best to all of you. Uh, I would also like to thank many of you who have been listening this podcast or a conversation or a piece of advice. And I'm sure this will probably give you the added advantage in your future endeavors. Thank you. All the best.